break as we also did our substitutions here in studio. And as mentioned earlier on, they were in the African Cup of Nations qualifiers. Unfortunately, they never made it through to Cameroon next year, but had a very good and strong finish in the last two matches. Kenya's Harambee Stars, in a match that we televised live on KBC Channel 1, held Egypt here in Nairobi to a 1-1 draw. Then went to Lome, Togo, where they managed to beat Togo by 2-1. A very strong finish in the last leg of the same. But unfortunately, it was a case of too little, too late for Harambee Stars. But there is still solace because we have the World Cup qualifiers. Kenya in the same group with neighbors Uganda. I will be finding out from them in studio because Uganda in the past have always said that in football they have Kenya's number. Anytime they want to beat Kenya, they call them. Is that still the case? We'll find out from the gentlemen here in studio. Kenya in the same group with Uganda, Rwanda and Mali. How will that pan out? Let's take the opportunity to introduce the team with us in studio. I'll first start by introducing assistant coach William Mluhya with us in the in studio after having a very tiring and grueling period hosting Egypt off to Togo and back. William, nice to see you and karibu sana. I know you're no stranger in this studio at all.
Thank you so much. I'm glad again to be back. For another positive talk.
Well, as we look at that also flanked in studio by, former Mahia captain, I still call him and I always call him captain, that's Kenneth Muguna. Played very well in the Harambee Stars midfield, and many argue that midfield combination can be a strong one if the team can be put together. Kenneth Muguna with us in studio, one of the regulars in the Mahia team and also becoming a regular in Harambee Stars. Kapi, karibu sana to the studio. Nice to see you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Well, thank you and karibu sana. Last but not least, we are joined by Agre Sai. Agre, head of marketing at ODBet, motivational supporter and motivational sponsor for Harambee Stars. They've been there. They've ensured that this team remains at top morale, something that had been lacking from national team for a very long time. If you look at the setup of the current national team, Harambee Stars, we are not hearing issues of allowances. We are not hearing issues coming up. This is courtesy of ODBet, who've come out and stayed and remained that they will work with Harambee Stars Liwe Liwalo. A very good move for ODBet indeed. Agre, nice to see you as well and karibu sana to the studio.
Thank you so much for having us.
Karibu. Before I even talk about Harambee Stars, because we will talk about that, let me give you the opportunity. Are you happy and satisfied with how the team is carrying out itself? Are you happy with the team morale? Are you happy with how Harambee Stars gave a very good fight towards the end of the Cup of Nations qualifying campaigns?
Sure. We actually are more than excited to partner with the national team Harambee Stars as their official motivational partners, and given the performances that the team has had, we've seen quite some great improvement, and as a brand we must say that we congratulate them for their performance, and we are happy and we are hoping for more.
Well, very good indeed. Now throwing the two gentlemen in the deep sea, William, being no stranger, always very calm and collected. I'll find out from Captain Muguna if that's how Mluhya is, even normal match days and stuff. Were you satisfied with the performance of the team in the last two matches, to be precise, against Egypt 1-1, then 2-1 win away, which is not normal with the Harambee Stars basing at the recent performances that away matches have not been, something that we've spoken about positively, but at least this time round with some very positive news. Are you satisfied from the technical bench of the performance in the last two games?
I think it was a strong indication of better things to come, because we finished on a strong will. Something that we can build on from. Basically, we got the 4 points from 2 matches. Of course, we wanted 6, and had we gotten the 2, of course, we'll be in the AFCON now. But it's something actually to build on from the same.
Well, as we look at building on and picking up from there, Muguna, from a playing unit point of view, were you guys satisfied with how you played in the last 2 games? It was very tough. The first game, red card. In the second half, 10 men, but you still, withstood all the pressure. And many argue that Egypt were just lucky. Mungeongezwa dakika, you'd have scored a goal. Many believe so.
I think the way we have played, yes, we were satisfied. But at the end of the day, everybody wanted to be at AFCON. But it wasn't possible. So we just have to accept it and go back to the drawing board. And we have the coaches to help us maybe to know what we lacked during the campaign. So we just hope that coming to the World Cup qualifiers will make it better, and also maybe look if we can qualify from the group.
Qualification will be key for many, and many believe that the route to Qatar now is something that is open. There are those who argue that there is light at the end of the tunnel, but there are those also of the school of thought that you take the tunnel to where the light is. Coach Mluhya, we are looking at a performance that not many expected from Harambee Stars. What was the main motivation in the last 2 games? Because the quality of football that many saw, I must also admit that I personally was very impressed with the performance. What has changed?
You could feel the spirit from the camp, and actually I'll say that the will to try and give an exemplary performance basically from the players. We had a blend, of course, but we had a majority who were the local based, and we have had a league that has been running well, of course, a very competitive one. So it also helped a bit, or it was an add up actually for the better performance from the players whom you saw. But every of the player that was given a chance, and basically from the locals we saw, and actually the ones whom had experience who came from abroad, basically they had one spirit, they had one unity, and you could feel the objective that was there, as much as it wasn't achieved, but as soon I think the results will start flowing in a positive manner.
As we talk about that, we are looking at a situation that, we came into this knowing very well that a win was going to be critical against Egypt at home that could have defined our next move against Togo. But Odibet came in handy when nobody expected such a move. Agri, is this a sign of good things to come in terms of motivating the national team? And we have World Cup qualifiers that are coming up. It's going to be a very, very congested period between June and September. Is this something that Odibet would want to ensure that going forward this team remains motivated and remains focused towards achieving a dream that not many believe that can happen, but it all depends at which side of the coin one is looking at, depending on you as an individual? Is this something that Odibet would want to make sure that this team is motivated fully as they go into the World Cup qualifiers?
This World Cup dream that Harambee Stars bears is one that it's a ship that we've decided to jump on board. And we as a brand, we are committed to motivating and supporting the team to ensure that the World Cup dream is a reality. We want to support them to qualify for the World Cup and also to qualify for the upcoming AFCON qualifiers post the current period. So we are really committed towards supporting them, not only on what we've been doing, but then going forward the support will be much better than what we've even offered so far.
Well, now that things seems to be settling down in terms of, motivation in camp and the team. William, let's look at Harambee Stars' performance in the second leg. And there is one question that many are asking. The COVID-19 results that came that locked out some of our key players. We never had complaints from you as the technical bench, not even the federation. They are not there to speak, but maybe you will speak from a technical bench point of view. We never had complaints. And first and foremost, how did you as a bench receive that information that some of your players were technically knocked out of that return game against Togo?
I think the results came a bit late. From I will say the purported results came a bit late, but again, getting 7 players out of the team, and out of the 7 we had 5 or 6 who were starters. I think it was a motivation also to the other group that we had. They had to fight for them. It gave them, it was a morale booster, kind of, if you look at it, because we had 23 players whom we had gone to, whom we had traveled with to Togo. But again, it meant that out of the 23, the left 16 actually were up for the task, and it was a chance for some of them who were making the debut that day. Of course, I would also like to acknowledge the leadership of Michael Olunga. Of course, beside coaching, you also need the psychological booster from the players. And actually, when a player gets it from another player, it's even much more better. So we had to do it for them, and they had to do it for the lot that had remained in the hotel.
But let me ask, Coach, you've mentioned you received the information late. At what point did you receive it? Pre-match? Was it on the actual match day? At what point did the news come that 7 of your players are not going to feature in this game?
I'd say it came less than 6 hours before the match, and that is on the match day. So had we not prepared everyone, then I think we'll have gone into a panic mode, something that we didn't do. Some good wisdom, maybe I'll say, from the head coach, Ghost, whereby the belief was instilled in everyone that who was in the camp that you are up for the task. And actually, sometimes when you have prepared yourself and you're working under no pressure, sometimes you seem to produce the best results. And that is what happened actually with the boys who played against Togo.
When we look at that, before I engage on, the procedure of, the COVID tests with the games and stuff, we'll be talking about that. Let me engage Muguna. Muguna, news comes. You know that Olunga is your hitman. Olunga, all of a sudden news comes, is not there. How do you motivate yourselves and say, Jameni, roju, tunaweza, it can be done? And you know the pressure that waits back at home in terms of everyone knows and expects a win from you. How did you as players take up this, and did you have to now look at it and encourage the other young ones that come on guys, it can be done, it's where we are, na lazima tujitume shughuli?
The game against Togo, I didn't travel, so I was not in the camp, and I think the players that were there, some of them have had experience in the national level, so the motivation was good. Maybe it came from Olunga, the way the coach has said, but also I think the players, they were also ready. Everybody was ready to play, because even from our matches against Egypt, if you look at those who even came in when we needed that punch, maybe to finish the match, they also produced some good performance. So overall, I think the camp was great, and everybody was motivated. And even me, when I was at home and I saw the news that some of the players were ruled out due to COVID, I still had the hopes that the team is going to come up with a win, and they did so.
Well, it is very tough indeed when you get such feedback, such information coming in way in the day. Let's get back before the final game against Togo, Coach Mluhya, and now this is where the tactical aspects of the game come in. Was this pure tactic, or it was a game plan? Because the second half substitutions brought in a lot of punch, and from nowhere it seemed to be a one-way traffic. Duke came in, and from there punch, and a goal was always coming. It was a matter of when, if not if, Harambee Stars would score. Is it a game plan that you'd known that the Egyptians have this kind of play? We locked them in the first half, second half we now go for the kill. What was the game plan around the Egypt game?
I'll say in the preparation of a match, it needs both elements, from the psychological to the technical and the tactical part of it. And if you look at the all players' preparation, everyone was indeed ready for the job. So we had those who had to start the job, and again we had those who had to finish the job, in the likes of Duke Abuya, Nyakea. Those who came in, it was a bit unfair for him because he had to come out again after the red card. But eventually the whole team was prepared, and again, if you look at the blend in the second half, actually it was a moment. Actually, they knew that the task was now actually to come and stretch out the Egyptians and push it to the level whereby you could at least get another extra goal that would have actually made us to win the game. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but we like the punch they did. So do we also like the punch that the first team had actually brought into the match in the first half?
Well, you look at the entire game plan and you realize that there was some preparations that were well done into the Harambee Stars technical wing, and clearly Harambee Stars had so much to offer, and the fans were missed because that would have been an extra ingredient. But we are where we are in terms of this. Talking about COVID protocols, Benin were taking on Sierra Leone in a return leg. Benin arrived and had taken their COVID tests 72 hours before their game. Benin also 1 hour to the game received news of 5 of their players having tested positive, including their influential captain. They refused to leave the team bus, and the game never took off. Funnily enough, en route back home at the airport, when they tested again, they said positive players tested negative. CAF has since rescheduled that game. Very interesting indeed. We'll be talking about that. But before we talk more about this, let me engage Agre here in studio and just ask Agre, you seem to be focusing not just on Harambee Stars, but football development in the country seems to be top on your list, and there is so much that has been happening behind the scenes, helping so much. You mind painting a picture why football? Because there seems to be so much that Odibet is doing, some good work that is happening behind the scenes.
Our focus is not only on football, but then of course we've come in a big way on football. That's why maybe someone will think we're only on football. Mm-hmm. Our support and our work when it comes to giving back to the community is not only limited to football. If I can break it down, on football we are supporting Harambee Stars as their motivational partners, trying to push and rally players and the team towards performing better. We are supporting the county league, all of the teams in the county leagues across the nation. We are supporting them by providing kits, soccer balls, training equipment. We want also to provide more logistics coming into the next season. Beyond soccer, we are also supporting other sports, individual talent, guys who are talented. Like recently we supported, we are calling him Kenya's fastest man. He's called Bernard Omanyala.
Omanyala, yes.
So we supported Omanyala, and just the other week he went to the Grand Prix in Lagos in Nigeria, and he came out as the fastest man in that race. He won it by a national record of 10.01 seconds. And congratulations to Omanyala because he has qualified for the Olympics.
Correct.
And so even beyond Omanyala, we are supporting other guys who are talented musicians. Mbogi Genje, there's a gentleman from Kawangware called Machete. So our support, we are calling it Odi Mtaani. It's all about growing talent at the grassroots levels. So beyond Harambee Stars, the county league, we want to support these young brothers and sisters. And also, because we're supporting Harambee Stars and the county league, players at the county league can look up to players in the current national team and be inspired to believe that they can also achieve success at the highest of levels nationally.
Wow. It's not just in football, and of course the nationwide teams are being big beneficiaries of this when you see the kits being given out there by Odibet to ensure that there is continuity of football in the country, and just creating excitement. Talking about Omanyala, going to Nigeria, West Africa, and coming out with such a time clearly shows that talent is in the country. And of course, congratulations to him for the national record. Back to William. We have World Cup qualifiers coming up, bumper from 5th of June all the way to November this year. William, we know that currently the national government has put on hold all sporting activities. Does this hamper your preparations for a very, very grueling period in terms of World Cup qualifiers?
Because of course we understand the situation that is currently happening, the COVID. People are ready to adhere to it, and so is sports in particular. But again, an urge or a request will be for them to consider it in a much better way. We are 100% sure that the federation, FKF, it's actually trying to reach to the government, actually to try and open up actually for us, especially the league, because the current league, I will say that it had a very big impact with the performance of the players, basically in the national team, and you could see it with the likes of Abdallah on how they are faring on in the league, and again how they are faring on in the national team with the Mugunas here. So them sitting out or being again away for another month, it means that the level will drop, of course, with them not training. You cannot really rely on them training on the individual basis, but basically training as a team. We also hope that we will have a mechanism on which the national team preparations will still be followed. 100% sure we have the team that are going to Olympics, the athletes. I'm sure that they haven't abandoned their training. So it's on a similar situation whereby the national team, basically the national team for soccer, needs to be considered in a way that it will not hamper the preparation, because it's not too far. Actually, it's exactly a month and few days before the first match, which is against Uganda. And any good preparation, any good startup against Uganda here will have set the foot actually to the qualification.
Well, important indeed, because players' fitness is something that will be good. There is players' fitness, which is, just normal fitness, but there is also the match fitness, which is normally very, very important to deliver in terms of performance. Muguna, sorry to bring it this way, but this is what it is. There are some Mahia fans who are saying that it's a blessing in disguise. Mahia needs to go back to the drawing board, to pick up itself. Your reaction to the current ban on all sporting activities in the country. As a player, I know you desperately need to be playing in the field, but what's your reaction to this?
First of all, health is very important, and everybody needs it, not only sports, but the whole country. But again, we had started playing the league, and everybody was in the right mood, and teams were really performing. So again, it's disappointing to us players. The momentum now will go down again, and as you can see, we had started a good project in the national team, and as well in our clubs. I can say that maybe some feel that it's a blessing, but for me, I think we had already started picking up. If you see our last match against Bidco, the team had already gelled, because we had some problems with the new players who came in. We are not still working as a team, but it had already started happening again. So maybe some feel that it's a blessing, but for me, I feel like again it's it brings us back to where we were before, because we won't have sessions together again. We won't have matches together, so it's just not okay.
Well, from a player's point of view, Muguna feels they had already started picking the momentum that they really wanted to continue with. But now back to the drawing board. When he talks about the Bidco game, Bidco surprised them with a first half lead, but Gor Mahia came back, won that 3-1. Muguna scoring the third goal of that match, giving them crucial points. Coach William Mluhya, there is the argument that Uganda says that we have Harambee Stars number. Anytime we want to beat them, we just call them. Is that the case?
Maybe they're believing in counting the chicks before they hatch. But I will say football is changing, and it's true to say that the national team, Harambee Stars, is on its peak. I don't want to say that Ugandans are really struggling. Maybe that this time round we understand that the magnitude of the game, given that we are neighbors. But it will rely more on our preparation, which we believe that they are going to be good enough to give us a positive results. But we have to believe in ourselves as a country. We have to believe in ourselves as a technical bench, and so we have to instill the belief into the players. We are 100% sure that they will like actually to pull something for the nation, for the fans, or as a country, whenever I say it as a whole. And the best they can actually is to give us the positive results. But again, it will depend with the preparation, with the people like Agri or the debates around here, 100% sure that we have that 12th person who is trying to push us for it.
As we look at that, let me engage Agri, then come back to you. Agri, we have a very, very tight schedule. I know you didn't want to, to lay everything on the table because you'd have to wait for the right moment to do so. But do you have something good in store for this team going into the World Cup qualifiers?
The current motivation that we've offered the team in terms of their support, even...
How much were they given?
We've supported them with 2.5 million. Recently, and also for the other match after Egypt, before Egypt. And then after their heroic performance against Togo, we had also to welcome them in a very big way. And so that is just a tip of the iceberg. Whatever awaits them is something that has never been experienced in this nation before. We want to support the team in a bigger way, more than what we've done. It is subject to contractual agreement, of course, now with the federation. And once we put pen to paper, we'll have to let the cat out of the bag. We'll inform the nation how we're going to support the team. But all I can say right now is we're going to support the team in the World Cup dream, going forward into the qualifications. All of those matches we're going to support the team. But first of all, let's complete the contractual agreements with the federation, and then we'll come back to you. Of course, I know the media, you guys are always probing and wanting to know, what is in store. I can ask you just to be patient because you've seen so far what we can do.
Correct.
And we want to do it in a bigger way. We're just trying to inspire the team to make them believe, in as much as they've not qualified for AFCON, we've had to welcome them in a big way. We have to support them. We have to provide resources and support, just to ensure that they can understand what awaits them in the event that they qualify for AFCON or even for World Cup. So it will be bigger and it will be better.
Agri, social distancing well taken care of. The team brought in very good brands of vehicle.
We want the players to experience firsthand what it means to be a winner. At times we get to understand that winning, we just have the feel of it maybe theoretically. But then you see, once you experience it firsthand, it pushes you, get a different push and feel as an individual to perform better. And that is what we as Audibates, we intend to do to the players and to the team. We want them to believe that first of all they are winners and they can do it. And then if in the event that they do it, we are going also to sort of repay and ensure that we appreciate them as a nation.
Interesting indeed. Harambee Stars are taking on Uganda on the 5th, between the weekend of 5th and 6th of June. Then 7 days later away to Rwanda on the 12th or 13th of June. Then a small break, home against Mali on the 3rd or 4th of September. Then days later, Mali away. Then very interesting indeed, November, it is Uganda away and Rwanda last match on between the 11th and the 12th of November. Is it November or October? October, right? Very tough indeed, a very, very busy schedule. Coach Mluhya, do you have a game plan? Not even a game plan. Have you worked out on your training schedule, worked out a plan in readiness for this World Cup qualifiers, or it's something that you want to complete very fast and hand over to the federation? Do you have a plan in place?
I'll say the plan is there because it was a continuing process. We have just played our last match a few days ago, and we only have, I think, in April, we only have April, and at the beginning of May, the team might actually be hitting the camp. It depends with the situation, the government and the federation will reach out on giving us at least a leeway on operating with the COVID situation. But it's a continuing project, I will say. The plan is there. It's just a few adjustments, I will say. And of course, we have a team now, the national team, I will say, and any other inclusion will be made based on the performance or the performance of the player, basically from the league matches that we'll be having.
And as we look at that, you have a very, very, tough group. I would look at it, even though there are those who are saying Nimteremko for Harambee Stars. Muguna, you seem to be coming up with a very, very good squad, very good combinations, very good partnerships coming up. Uganda, Rwanda, Mali, and of course Kenya. Do you as a player believe that we have what it takes and this could be that moment for Kenya to make it through to the World Cup?
First of all, the confidence is key, especially in this level, but at the same time, we should not be carried away by our recent performance, because we know that this is a new group again, and we know that the reward is very big compared to the one that we participated before. So as players, of course, we believe we can do it, but at the same time, we have to back it up with good training. We have to be committed, especially starting from our individual trainings and taking it again to group trainings. So I believe that if we are committed and we have the confidence and the belief that we can do the job, I think we can do it at the end of the day.
It is a belief that you must have as a player before you move on. What about the bringing in of new home-based players into the team, proving their worth? Do you think now with foreign-based players and home-based, we have what it takes, and this could just be that moment that we need when we talk about home-based and foreign players coming together? Kenya can have a very strong team that could have a very good stab at the World Cup qualifiers?
According to us, we don't look at it as like we have two groups of players. For us, we feel like all of us are Kenyan players, and if you are called upon, it doesn't matter where you are playing, even if it's abroad or here at home. You just have to give 100% for the team. So in the next camp, it doesn't matter, we'll be there, even if you are playing at home or abroad. You just have to come in and give out 100% for their country.
For their country, I like the fact that you're saying you don't look at it as in foreign or local based. You look at it as we are all Kenyans and the best player gets to get the nod. Coach Mluhya, hearing that from Muguna in the technical bench, does that give you and the entire technical bench a very good feeling of team cohesion, of how the players look upon each other, not as in who you pro, who you local? They look at themselves as in the best could be getting the opportunity to get to the field.
Actually, I will echo his sentiments, and I'll also look at it on a different perspective, because I won't just rely on the fact or use the term foreign, but I like actually to use the term more abroad based, because they are all professionals despite of where someone is playing, and whenever they are brought together, whenever they have that unity in the national team, basically they come for actually they want to do it for themselves, they want to do it for the country. They want also to prospect about to have a good prospect of their future, and it also it just lies with the fact that you are given an opportunity and you make good use of it. So we don't look at it as if we'll have a disparity in terms of where someone plays. We believe that when they come together, they do it for the national flag.
Muguna, the 12th player, that's the fan. Did you guys miss them, the game against Egypt? Because they always come up with some pressure, because to them, every corner is a goal. We want another one just like the other one. There is always pressure from them. Do you think that you missed the fans in the stadium? We all understand why fans were not able, but did you miss them in the stadium?
Of course. Any sports without fans, it's not that entertaining. But at the end of the day, we are professionals and we have to make sure that the job is done, whether they are there or not. But if you ask me if we miss them, of course, we miss them a lot. And I could even request maybe if in our next assignments, maybe a section of them can be allowed to be with us. Also, we need that extra motivation that comes along with having the fans in the stands.
Well, good indeed, because the fans will always give that extra punch. More so the East African derby, Uganda versus Kenya on between the 5th and the 6th of June. Hoping that the COVID numbers will have gone down, that we can have fans. The last time I personally attended a match between Harambee Stars and Uganda was at Nambole Stadium in Uganda, packed to capacity. That's how passionate they are. But in terms of football, like Coach Mluhya says, you don't count your chicks before they hatch. This could just be another hiding waiting for them from Harambee Stars point. We need to start winding up this, gentlemen. Let me start with Agre here in studio and just ask Agre, what about the fans? Do you have something in store for them, not just around Harambee Stars, but Odibets in general? Anything they need to know? Because they are part of the main stakeholders when it comes to matter sports.
We'd like to tell the fans that we as Odibets, we are committed to sponsoring and supporting the national team in the other sports. And as motivational partners, you'll see that there's a big difference that has come to the team, because for the last 7 matches that we've supported Harambee Stars, they've only lost 1 match. And they've won away in Togo for the first time, I think, in 16 years. Correct. Which is really, really a big thing for them and the team. So going forward into the World Cup, I want to tell the fans that we as a brand, we are committed to sponsoring the national and supporting the national team. And there are bigger things, not only in football, but then even the other sports, be it basketball, volleyball. We're in engagements with the other sector players and stakeholders to ensure we can find a sustainable way of supporting even the other sports in this nation. And then under the Odi Mtaani umbrella, which is our way of giving back to the community, we are calling on our brothers and sisters who are talented, be it in acting, be it in boxing, any other aspect, to come on board and engage us to see how we can support them. We are all about growing talent and bettering lives. And lastly, I would like just to call and rally my fellow Kenyans that guys, let's come on board, let's support the national team, let's support them morally in any way possible. Online, on social media, let's cheer them, let's push them, let's ask them to perform better, and let's not criticize them too much. Let's find a better way of also pushing them, so that, because I believe with our support as fans and as a country, the team can be able to perform better. And I think once it performs better, we'll be happy as a nation. Thank you. But
also to say thank you, because courtesy of you, there are those matches that we are able to take to their living rooms.
Sure. And even for you guys, we'll always be here to work together. I mean, Odibets as a Kenyan company, we're all about growing and building this country.
Fantastic, because courtesy of you, we were able to to be live at Kasarani, where Harambee Stars are with a very good outing against Egypt. Let's wind up this. I'll start with Captain Muguna, just to find out, Captain, it was a lot of pressure coming up into the game against Egypt, where you were very instrumental in that midfield with Teddy Akumu, of course, Lawrence Juma, ran a very good, team. As we look at the World Cup qualifiers, what can you assure Kenyans, or what can you promise Kenyans going into the next World Cup qualifiers? Kenyans always expect a lot, but at times things might not be as easy as one would think. What can you assure Kenyans as your parting shot?
For Kenyans, I can assure them that each and every person will fight for the team. For us players, we'll do our part, and we'll come along with the fighting spirit that we have seen in the last 2 matches. But for us also to win, I think their support also is very key. No matter whether they'll be in the stadium or not, I think even by tweeting, something positive, it gives us that energy and that urge to move and move and move until the last minute.
Thank you very much, Muguna, and wishing you all the best. I would have asked about Kogalo, but it is purely Harambee Stars. That's talk for another time. Coach Mluhya, you have a minute to give us your parting shot. What can you promise Kenyans?
Actually, I'll say that it is always said that you are as strong as the person next to you. And with this person might be the goodwill that is coming from the Kenyans. This person might be the ambassadors who wants to see us, of course, have a better performance in the OD. This person might be the players, it might be the technical bench, and of course the spirited effort of everyone. So we do promise that we are going to give a good fight, and actually we are going to bring more smiles actually to the face of Kenyans.
Well, as we look at this, remember, World Cup qualifiers are starting between the 5th or 6th of June, Kenya against Uganda here at home, then away to Rwanda 7 days later, 12th or 13th of June, then Mali in September, that's 3rd or 4th of September at home, then away days later again in Mali between the 6th and the 7th of September. Then the last two matches will be in October, that's Uganda away between the 6th or 7th, then Rwanda will be the last match here at home between the 11th and 12th of October. All this in terms of hunting for a maiden appearance in Qatar in the World Cup. Very, very good opportunity, and like Mluhya says, it can be done with proper preparations. Muguna also saying from a playing unit point of view, they have what it takes. They will remain focused. They will give it their best. Then, of course, from Odibets, their motivational, partners, they promise that they will continue holding each other's hands to ensure that at least Kenya makes history by making it to the World Cup for the first time. Gentlemen, thank you very much for making time. We appreciate. We wish you all the best, and we'll always urge that in everything that we do, let's ensure that we remain safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, at that point, we wrap it up and say that we are indeed your true sports partner. Up next, we are taking you all the way to Tanzania, where the CAF Champions League match between Sports Club Simba of Tanzania taking on AS Vita of DRC. That match coming up shortly. You can see, fans, live pictures from Tanzania there, where it is Visit Tanzania, sponsors of Sports Club Simba, where our very own Joash Onyango, who was voted Player of the Month, features for Simba. Let's enjoy that. But from us in studio, we want to say thank you very much for having kept us company. From the cameraman, the producer, the director, the sound technicians, we say thank you very much. As I always say, kuna na kesho ni majaliwa yake Mwenyezi Mungu. Up next, it is all the way to Tanzania. Sports Club Simba taking on AS Vita of DRC.